Bezrat Hashem, Boker Tov. We are Bekiim Bahalacha 32, day 32. Okay, so Isur Shnei Tavshilim. We're talking about now eating two cooked foods during the Sudat HaMafseket. B'Sudat HaMafseket Asur Lechol Shnei Tavshilim. You cannot eat two cooked dishes during the Sudat HaMafseket. V'afilu bishul min echad b'shdei kederot. Even if you put them both in the same pot, Elam she'echad kashe ve'echad rach. One is hard, one is soft. Gam ze nechshav shnei tavshilin. This is also considered to be two dishes. Aval im shneim shavim. If both of them are equal, אלא שהוצרך לבשל בשני קדירות מפני שבני הבית מרובים, מותר לאכול משניהם. But if you're cooking the same item of food in two different pots because you don't have big enough pots, in this case you can even eat from both pots and it's not a problem. 152. This does not have to be the reason for using two pots. It is simply a probable reason for doing so. Even if the food is cooked in two pots for no particular reason, as long as the food in both is cooked in the same manner, anyone may eat the food of both pots during this meal. This is the ruling of the Ritva and the Mukhi Yosef, and it disagrees with the response of Knesset Hagdolah. Okay. 8. A hard-boiled שתי ביצים, האחת קשה ואחד רכה, שראויה לגמיעה. One hard-boiled egg and a soft-boiled egg, נחשבת לשני תבשילין לעניין זה. Okay, is going to be considered to be two different dishes. וכל שכן ביצה שלוקה וביצה מטוגנת, and for sure, if it's going to be a hard-boiled egg and a fried egg, this is also going to be asur. Sheneshevet l'shnei tavshilin. It's going to be considered two different dishes. Umine ma'afa enam chashuvim tavshil. Different baked foods are not going to be considered tavshil dishes. Umutar le'echol af kama mine ugot, and you will be even allowed to eat many different cakes. Mikol makom lo yochelim letanug ela lisboa mehem. A person shouldn't eat them for pleasure, only rather to fill himself up. Okay, 153. The Ol Etzion wrote that for this reason one should refrain from drinking carbonated sweet beverages at this meal. Okay, number 9. Halacha Tet. יש נוהגים לאכול בסעודת המפסקת ערב תשעה באב תבשיל של עדשים. There are those that have the custom to eat by סעודת המפסקת lentils, או ביצים קשות, or hard-boiled eggs, מפני שהם מאכל אבלים, because they are the food of mourners. ואסור לאכול עדשים וגם ביצים. It is forbidden to eat both, בזה אחר זה, one after the other. כשהם מבושלים כל אחד בפני עצמו, if they are cooked each one on their own. ששני תבשילין אסור חכמים, because חכמים אסור made it forbidden to eat two cooked dishes. ולא חילקי בין סוגי המאכלים, and didn't say these types would be allowed. שכל שני תבשילין אסורים, any two cooked dishes would be אסור. ואפילו אם הם מאכל אבלים, even if both of them would be food of mourners. ולכן הנוהגים לאכול תבשיל עדשים, those that have the custom to eat lentils, ואחר כך אוכלים ביצים שלוקות, and after they eat hard-boiled eggs, טועים הם, they are making a mistake, ועליהם לבטל מנהגם, they should cancel, or they should annul this custom. שהרי הם שני תבשילים, because they are considered to be two dishes. וגם הנוהגים לאכול ביצים קשות אחר ברכת המזון, those that also have the custom to eat hard-boiled eggs after doing the Birkat HaMazon, meaning they eat lentils with bread and then they do Birkat HaMazon and then they eat the hard-boiled eggs. Osim shelo kadin, they are doing not like the halacha, she'arei hem gormim livracha she'ena tzricha, because they are causing now a bracha she'ena tzricha, bracha that is not needed. Yeah. Okay. 154. The Talmud states, on the day that Avraham Avinu died and Yitzchak Avinu began mourning over him, Yaakov Avinu cooked a lentil stew with which to console him. What is the significance of a lentil stew? The rabbis of the land of Israel explained that just as a lentil is round and has no mouth, a mourner should also sit without complaining and accept God's judgment. When Nadav and Abihu, the Torah testified that Aaron remained silent. Some people serve eggs to console the mourner. Just as an egg is globular, mourning is an experience that everyone all over the globe shares. Okay, our sages taught, Rabbi Eliezer said, lentils are food eaten as a symbol of mourning and pain. In fact, when Heaven, was murdered, his parents ate a food made of lentils. Likewise, Yaakov Avinu cooked lentils too, since Avraham Avinu passed away on that day. Therefore, the nation of Israel eats foods made with lentils in mourning over the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash. 155. Maran Rishon Etzion cited the Mizbach Adama, who ruled that if someone finishes the meal and recites Birkat Hamazon, and only a while later he sits down to eat an egg, there is no longer any issue of reciting an unnecessary blessing, and it would be permissible to do so. Okay? Halacha Yud. Im yesh leachmir af b'shnei minim b'kedei halachad. It's also proper to be strict with two dishes in one pot. Unless it is the normal way to do so throughout the year. For example, with beans that we have the custom to put inside onions and eggs, so you would be allowed to do that. Or like the example like you gave before would also be shakshuka, right? With tomatoes, the peppers, the eggs, you have all that. That's also considered to be one dish. ויש מקומות שהיו נוהגים בכל השנה לתת ביצים טרופות לתוך תבשיל של עדשים ומבשלים אותם ביחד בקדירה אחת. There are places that have the custom to put poach the eggs into a stew of lentils, and they cook it together in one pot. Those that have that custom, they're allowed to do so even during Sudat HaMafseket. אבל ברוב המקומות שאין נוהגים בכך כל ימות השנה, אין להקל בזה, but all the places that don't have this custom to do so throughout the year should not be doing so for Sudat HaMafseket, and they shouldn't be lenient. 156. Maran Rishon Etzion suggests the other examples of such foods, citing the Sefer Ruach Chaim and the Ben Ish Chai, such as rice cooked with carrots and raisins, or with peas and tomatoes. The Or Zion wrote that it's permissible to eat eggs cooked with tomatoes. Okay, shakshuka, as it's known, for the final meal, since it is commonly eaten like this all year round. Yud Aleph. 11. A place that they have the custom to eat pancakes filled with cheese. They eat this throughout the year. There would be allowed to eat this as well during Sudat HaMafseket, because it's considered to be one dish. You shouldn't eat them if you're eating them for pleasure. רק היכא שאוכלים אותם שאוכלם דרך מאכל ולא דרך תענוג שפיר דמי. Unless he's eating it just for the sake of like to fill himself, then it would be allowed. Otherwise, if it's for pleasure, he should not do so. 157. Maran Rishon Etzion brought proof for this ruling from the Shulchan Gavoa and the Aruch HaShulchan, disagreeing with the Magen Avraham. Nevertheless, he said in the Sefer Me'arot of Rabbeinu HaMeirim that one should not eat these pancakes for the pleasure of enjoying them. It is permissible to eat them only if one does so for the sake of satisfying one's hunger. Yud Bet. Afinu davar hanechal chai, even something that is normally eaten raw. Kigon tapuach, like an apple. Im bishilo, if he cooks it, nechshav tafshin. V'asur le'echol imo o tafshin, and it would be forbidden to eat it with another dish. Mishum dehav eleshne tafshin, because it's now considered to be two dishes. Salat is not a cooked dish. Technically, yes, but we don't. Again, we try to minimize what we eat during Sudat HaMafseket. Okay. Yud Bet. Sorry, we just did it. Yud Gimel. 13. פירות חיים מותר לאכול מהם אפילו כמה מינים. You can eat fruits, right? Raw fruits. You can even eat many different types. There's no problem. ירקות כבושים, pickled vegetables, okay? כגון לפת, like turnips, כבוש במים ומלח או בחומץ, that are pickled in water with salt or with vinegar. וכן חצילים כבושים, same thing, eggplants, pickled eggplants, וכן זיתים כבושים, also olives, pickled olives, דנו האחרונים, אם נאמר כבוש כמשל, the Achronim deal with is it if it's going to be considered like it's going to be a cooked dish. In the Inyan Isul Shenet Tavshinin, Visudat HaMafseket, if it's going to be considered like a cooked dish for Sudat HaMafseket. Vidat HaMari Ayash, the opinion of Mari Ayash, B'Sefer Matei Yehuda, in his book Matei Yehuda, the Kavush Havek Mushal Yanzeh, he says that it would be considered like cooked for the manner of Tisha B'Av. and 2 meals, having 2 cooked dishes. Even though that there are those that argued on him. Since he forbids it as a ruling, it is proper to take his opinion into consideration. And you shouldn't eat another dish together with them. If he's going to eat pickles, cucumber pickles, vikishuim, or zucchini, and other things that other vegetables that can be eaten raw. If even if they were afterwards pickled in vinegar or salt water, we don't have to be strict for them. You can eat them during Sudat. Second, aside for another cooked dish. You can eat also a vegetable salad, okay? That you even put salt and vinegar in it, and you can also eat another cooked dish with this. Why? Because salad is not going to be considered to be a cooked dish. 158. The Tosafot, the Tzor HaChaim, and Rabbeinu Ovadia of Bertino all ruled that any food that is normally eaten raw does not count as a cooked food for the final meal, even if it is cooked, and that therefore one may eat another cooked food along with it. On the other hand, the Ramban and the Ridban, Rabbeinu Asher, Rabbeinu Menachem HaMeirim, Rabbeinu Yocham, and the Mordechai, the Hamanhig, okay, the Shibur Aleket, Sefer Amabit, the Oziel, and other Rishonim all ruled that even if it is something normally eaten raw, once it is cooked, it is counted as a cooked food, and one may not eat another cooked food during the meal along with it. Rabbeinu Asher explained that the reason why our sages limited this meal to only one cooked food is because when many foods are served at a meal, it increases the pleasure of its participants. Even if the food that was cooked could have been eaten raw, it still served this purpose now that it is cooked, and therefore it is restricted. This is the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, 159. Maran Rishon Etzion Chazon Ovadia explained that this is permitted because of a compound doubt. First of all, the halacha may be like the Rishonim, who ruled that any food can be eaten raw does not count as a cooked food for this meal, even if it is cooked. Furthermore, this vegetable is not actually cooked; it is only pickled. Therefore, the halacha may be like the Aruch HaShulchan and the other Achronim, who ruled that any pickled food is not considered to be a cooked food. Although we have neither of these leniencies in practice, we may combine them in this case and formulate a safek safeka to permit these pickled vegetables that I'm adding that can normally even be eaten raw. Even though the original Yalkut Yosef ruled that pickled cucumbers and fresh salads count as cooked food, no other cooked food may be eaten with them at the final meal. The halacha is as written here. Based on the Chazon Ovadia, where salad and pickled and pickles and other pickled vegetables that can be eaten raw would not be considered to be a cooked vegetable. 15. Dag manuach lo chashiv tavshil klal. A salted fish is not considered to be a cooked dish at all. Inyan bet tavshilin b'sudat hamafseket in regards to having 2 cooked dishes during sudat hamafseket. Mutar le'achol tavshil echad milvad dag manuach, and you can eat another dish in addition to salted fish. V'im yaltzeh le'achol v'im yaltzeh yachol lischot alav limon le'at limon. You can even squeeze on it lemon to give it a good taste. Ulam dag manuach tzali, but roasted salted fish, nechshav tavshin, can be considered like a cooked dish. That you cannot eat with another dish. Same thing with sardines. That they are cooked through steam. Nechshavim tavshin echad, they would be considered a cooked food. They would be considered a cooked food in regards to this. Amen ve'amen.